I've been a dumb artist before, just signing shit, just get, because they get you with the money. You gotta think, you 20 years old, these folks like, look, you got a hot song, let me give you $2 million. But then I'm going to own.
This is the wild story of Offset, Wack100, and millions of dollars that somebody clearly isn't being honest about. Let's break down what really went down: shady deals, broken trust, and the dark side of the rap industry. Before we even touch the Offset and Wack100 drama, you gotta understand one thing that most people just don't get. The business side of hip-hop is straight up ruthless. It's cold out here, colder than ice. And nobody knows that better than Offset himself, a man who's been deep in the game, fought through the chaos, and came out smarter and sharper than ever. See, a lot of people think rappers are just out here living like kings, throwing cash, rocking designer, and flexing foreign cars all day. But the truth is way darker than what you see on the gram. Behind the flashy lifestyle is contracts, manipulation, and power plays every single day. Labels and managers, they know exactly how to play the game, taking advantage of artists' hunger, dreams, and that burning desire to make it out the struggle. When you're young and desperate for a shot, you'll sign anything they put in front of you without even knowing what's really in it. And when Offset pulled up the club Sachet, he didn't hold back for a second. He spoke raw truth about how young rappers get trapped in unfair deals that follow them for years, contracts that feel more like chains than opportunities. Now this right here is the real game. Pay attention, because what Offset explained doesn't just apply to him. It connects to the entire mess we're about to uncover between him and Wack100. Things about to get messy.
Because at first, when I first came in the game, well, you got $2 million for me? Man, run it. Publisher, you got $5 million? Run it. Not really reading the terms, not really understanding, and then your lawyer ain't gonna tell you, gonna tell you what you gotta do, but I feel like if you build with your lawyer, like I talk to my lawyer day to day, when I'm asking questions, and he know like, I'm gonna ask this question, and I need you to break it down into a way that I can understand, so I understand what I'm signing up to, because I've been a dumb artist before, just signing shit, just get, because they get you with the money. You gotta think, you 20 years old, these folks like, look, you got a hot song, let me give you $2 million. But then
Offset is pulling back the curtain on how the music industry really moves, and that's exactly why people instantly thought he had beef with Wack100 when this whole story started spreading. Wack's name has long been tied to those same shady business moves, the kind of tricks the big labels been using for decades to keep artists locked in bad situations. Listen close, because what Offset revealed is major. He said it plain: the label drops your album, racks up $2 or $3 million off your work, and even after they make back every dollar they gave you, they still claim you owe money. They hit you with expenses, marketing costs, studio fees, all charged to your town. That's the game. That's the scam that's been running since the Motown era, making artists rich in image but broke on paper. Offset basically exposed the blueprint. And once that clip hit the internet, it didn't take long for people to connect the dots straight to Wack100.
I'ma own you, and then you got 5 albums, but then soon the album come out, because most people don't know, when your album come out, you at an artist level like me, man, your first month, they done made $2-3 million. Wow. But it ain't your cut, it ain't your money, and it's not counting to your recoupment, but on what they own, that then recoup the $2-3 million, and they still got you in $3 million debt, and quarterly counting it down.
Folks started whispering that he's been playing the same game with his own artists, cutting deals that look shiny up front but leave artists stuck in the back end. Remember, Wack's been in the industry for decades, managing names like The Game and Blueface, with heavy ties to the West Coast music scene and even street politics. So when his name popped up in this kind of talk, people didn't question it. They just nodded and said, yeah, that sounds about right. The streets were already watching. Wack100 is one of those names that echoes throughout the entire music industry. Everybody knows him, and he knows everybody. But when it comes to his reputation around contracts and business moves, things get real messy. For years, people have been side-eyeing how he handles his artists' money, and every time his name pops up, that same conversation comes right back around.
What is going on with 42 Dugg and you? He clapped back. You said Offset ran his pockets in the studio.
That's not what I said.
What'd you say?
I said, you tried to leave a dice game. Offset wasn't going for it. He went outside. He was walking.
According to academics and multiple industry insiders, Wack allegedly locked Blueface into a deal that gives Wack a shocking 70% of everything Blueface earns. 70%. That's insane. How does something like that even happen? Well, it's because Wack allegedly played both sides of the table, acting as the label and the manager at the same time. As the label, he reportedly takes 50% of all income. Then, wearing his manager hat, he scoops another 20% off the top. That's what academics call double dipping, a clear conflict of interest, where the artist doesn't really have anyone fighting for him. When the same person is supposed to negotiate for you and profit off you, who's really in your corner? The answer's simple: nobody.
Tapping pockets is like, I'm gonna rob you, but it's like
No,
metaphorically, I'm like figuring out if you have anything to steal.
42 Doug had a bunch of money in both his pockets. You know, he got skinny jeans on, so bulging out his pockets. Offset didn't take too kind to him walking away from the dice game when it was Offset dice. He was hitting 20,000.
So you can't just walk away from the dice game? No. That's a violation.
And that's where things start to heat up between Offset and Wack100. But this ain't just about contracts or money moves. Now, this one's personal. It's about connections that run deep and relationships that go back before Offset was even in the picture. Where it is, Wack100 had ties with Cardi B long before she ever met Offset, and that's where the real tension starts bubbling up. This ain't about business. It's about loyalty, pride, and who's really got the influence behind the scenes. Things are starting to sound a whole lot deeper than just industry drama. Wack100 and Cardi B go way back, years before all this chaos. He's always shown her love and respect, and people in the industry know that. But when Offset and Cardi's relationship drama started spilling all over social media and the blogs, Wack got dragged right into the middle of it. It was messy, public, and impossible to ignore. Now here's where it gets wild. Wack actually admitted on camera that he had serious information in his hands that could have wrecked Offset's reputation. He flat out said he had dirt that could have flipped the public's view of Offset completely, but he chose not to let it out. That's a major move. So why'd he keep quiet? Because of his long-standing bond with Cardi B. That history goes deep, and out of respect for her, Wack decided not to expose Offset, even though he easily could have. But before he took the high road, he still made sure to send a message. Wack had already gone public and called Offset out in a big way, posting on his Instagram story saying, "Lil weird-ass nigga, I told you, keep me out your emotional shit." That post sent shockwaves through social media and had everyone trying to figure out what was really going down behind the scenes.
Then came the real twist. Blueface, one of Wack's own artists, jumped into the mix and dropped some serious claims about Offset. He allegedly said Offset was hooking up with Chrisean Rock while still married to Cardi B.
You see studios, that gate don't open on motion. You gotta open from inside the building. Offset jumps up and trails behind him. I come behind him. I got a few of the schoolyards with me because we on tour. Offset walks right up and Doug's walking away from him, grabs his left pocket. Some money bulging out of it. He didn't take the money out of his pocket, right? I don't know if he was attempting to take it or he was just trying to turn him around or what it was. Nevertheless, Doug ends up turning around. When he turned around, Offset filed.
In the face.
Right in the face.
That accusation set the internet on fire, turning private drama into full-blown chaos that nobody saw coming. This whole thing blew up fast, and it was explosive. Blueface and Chrisean Rock were already caught in a storm of drama, so when that rumor about Offset dropped, it hit like a bomb. Offset was furious. He immediately got on the phone with Wack, demanding that he get his artist under control before even more dirt spilled out into the public. Offset believed Wack had to be behind it, that he had given Blueface the green light to air out his personal business for the world to see. But Wack has stood firm ever since, saying he had nothing to do with it. According to him, he didn't even know what was going on until the story was already all over the internet. Blueface, on the other hand, was apparently moving on his own time, making big moves without checking in with his manager first. And here's the crazy part. Even though Wack said he didn't set any of it up, he was ready to let Blueface go all in and spill every piece of dirt he had on Offset. At that point, Wack was tired of being blamed, fed up with the accusations, and just wanted to wash his hands of the whole situation. But then, out of nowhere, a single phone call changed everything. Cardi B herself reached out to Wack, calm but direct, and basically told him, "Look, we're already separated. This isn't really my business anymore, and I don't want to get dragged into this mess." She respectfully asked him to shut it down and keep things from getting uglier. And that call hit different for Wack. Out of respect for Cardi, he took a step back and decided not to let things spiral any further. One phone call turned what could have been total destruction into a tense ceasefire.
So Offset says, nah, Unc is right. I gotta respect what he's saying. They go back in the building. I tell him, open the motherfucking, that's from Offset. See the date. Scroll down.
Wednesday.
That's Doug doing his rant. What the fuck did Offset say to me?
Why this N-word lying? Oh.
See, one thing about Wack, I got the content. I recited everything that happened, right?
Out of pure respect for Cardi, Wack obliged and stepped back. Thanks to her intervention, the Cardi Offset Wack situation cooled down before it got completely out of control. Cardi was the one who brought peace to a fire that could have burned everything down. But believe it or not, that wasn't even the story that had the streets buzzing. The real talk came from something even wilder, the legendary dice game incident that allegedly kicked off a whole war. Now this right here is the core of the chaos, the story that's been told, retold, argued, confirmed, and denied for years. Every podcast, every hip-hop page, every comment section has debated this one event, the infamous dice game between Offset and 42 Dugg that supposedly went down at QC Studios back in 2019. And guess who was right there that night? Wack100 himself. He's been the many voice behind this whole situation, breaking it down across multiple interviews and podcasts. Whether people believe him or not, his version is shaped the way this story spread through the streets.
I can show you just prior to that, Offset cussing me out.
For what?
Because of the Blueface shit. Cussing me the fuck out, going crazy on me.
But no love lost, because when the Doug thing came up, he was...
No, but it's gonna lead to this. What does he say? You my what?
You my uncle, these Texas...
According to Wack100's detailed account, that night was pure attention from start to finish. Money was on the line, pride was in the air, and things started to get heated. But here's where people got the story twisted. Wack made sure to clarify something huge. He never said Offset robbed 42 Dugg or took his money. That part was blown way out of proportion. What Wack actually said was that Offset pressed 42 Dugg for leaving the dice game too early, right when it was Offset's turn to roll, and he was supposedly on a hot streak. Offset felt like Dugg dipped before things were settled, and that's what sparked the confrontation. One simple moment at that dice table turned into a legendary street story that's still being talked about years later. So according to Wack100 says went down that night step by step, so it's crystal clear. The year was 2019, the final night of Lil Baby's tour in Atlanta, and Wack100 was in town with Blueface. The plan was simple. They were there to record a track with Offset, nothing more. That's the whole reason they ended up at QC Studios that night. Wack even called up Pierre P. Thomas, the boss of quality control, to open up the studio and get things rolling. But once the music talk faded, the energy in the room shifted. The dice came out and the stakes got real. Now, for those who don't know the street code behind the dice game, there are rules. If somebody's on a hot streak, hitting their numbers and stacking up wins, you don't just scoop your cash off the floor and walk away. That's seen as total disrespect. You stay in the game and let the shooter finish his role. That's how it's supposed to go. According to Wack's detailed account, that's exactly where things went left. He says Offset was rolling hot when 42 Dugg suddenly decided to grab his money and step out, and Offset wasn't having it.
And I was by myself with 100,000. They tried me, bro. Right or wrong, they tried me. They surrounded me, told me, I ain't giving a rich nigga shit, nigga. And my mama can die right now.
Where me and you and Squeeze catch niggas at, dog?
Got it. My mama could die if I'm lying, bro. I didn't get them niggas a dime, bro. And I was by myself, got it. Who you know doing that? Who you know leaving somewhere with 100,000 surrounded by 12 niggas rolls and leave out that bitch with all his money, all his shit?
Wack claims Offset followed Dugg outside, heated and ready to confront him. As Dugg turned to walk off, Offset allegedly reached toward his pocket, where the cash was clearly bulging through his skinny jeans, and before Dugg could even react, Offset swung and landed a clean punch straight to his face. One hit that set off a chain reaction nobody in that studio would forget. That's the moment, according to Wack, that flipped a simple dice game into a legendary street story that's still being talked about years later. So according to Wack, right after Offset landed that punch, he paused and started counting. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, just to see if 42 Doug would react, but nothing happened. No swing back, no push, no words. Doug didn't move a muscle. That silence had everybody in the room stunned. But here's where the story takes a wild twist that flipped the whole narrative on its head. Later, 42 Doug jumped on Instagram Live and called Wack a liar, flat out denying that anything went down the way Wack described. He said the story was all cap, pure fiction. And that's when Wack decided to drop the receipts. He pulled out the DMs, direct messages from Offset himself.
In those messages, Offset actually backed up Wack's version of what happened. When Doug went on live calling Wack a liar, Offset hit him in the DMs asking, "Why this guy lying?" Basically confirming that what Wack said about that night was true. That message completely contradicted what 42 Doug was saying publicly and threw more fire on the situation.
Banned in 2023. When did it really start to fall apart?
It wasn't
Obviously
really,
before then.
I think things on the business side wasn't turning to my favor. I wanted, I got kids. You know what I mean? I got kids, a family. And I'm just getting older and more smart, paying more attention to my money, my finances, and felt like I wanted a bigger piece.
Sure.
Not from them, but from the business.
But Doug wasn't backing down. He doubled down and went back on Instagram Live giving his own version of the story, saying it didn't happen like that at all. He stood on it hard, saying he never got touched, never gave up a dime, and left with all his money and jewelry still on him. Then he took it even further. 42 Doug swore in his mother's life that he was telling the truth. And in the streets, that's the ultimate stamp. You don't bring your mom into it unless you mean every word. The moment he said that, the whole internet split. Half believed Wack100 and Offset's story, the other half stood with Doug, saying he wouldn't risk his mother's name over a lie. This drama had the rap world spinning. That was a bold move from 42 Doug, going on camera and swearing on his mother's life for the whole world to see. But he didn't stop there. Doug hinted that there might have been some real retaliation that went down after that night, something serious that nobody wanted to talk about publicly. The tension from that one dice game started sounding way deeper than a simple argument over money. Even DJ Academics, who's been cool with Wack100 for years, admitted that things were getting hard to confirm. He said straight up he couldn't vouch for everything Wack was claiming anymore. And that's major, because Ack has always been one of the few who could get both sides on record. That uncertainty made the story even messier. As the internet tried to piece everything together, the business beef, the street politics, the relationship drama, people started building wild conspiracy theories. Some claimed this dice game and the tension it created played a role in the eventual Migos breakup. Fans were convinced it all tied together somehow.
Is that true to you and Sweetie?
No, man. It was a rumor, man. And I feel like it was something deeper than that for the split of me and bro. It was something deeper than that. You know what I mean? It was something deeper than that.
But Offset later sat down and finally cleared the air once and for all. During an interview with Keke Palmer in 2023, she asked him straight up what really caused Migos to split, and he didn't dodge the question. Offset kept it raw and honest. He said it wasn't about Quavo wanting to be the center of attention, and it definitely wasn't about any so-called female drama like people kept trying to say with the whole Saweetie rumor. Nope, according to Offset, it was all about business. He wanted a fairer cut of what the group was making, but the way their structure was set up just didn't allow that kind of growth. It wasn't personal, it was about money, ownership, and control. Offset was simply fighting for what he felt he earned, and that's what ultimately caused the split that shocked the rap world. Offset made it clear he had a family to take care of, and he needed to see more money actually reaching his pockets. He wasn't just chasing fame anymore, he was chasing fair compensation for the work he put in. On the Breakfast Club morning show, they broke down his interview in full detail, analyzing how Offset finally addressed all the long-standing rumors that had been circling around him and the Migos for years. He wasn't dodging anything. He was laying it all out, raw and real.
So Sweetie is not the reason that Offset and Quavo are no longer friends, nor is she the reason that Cardi B and Offset divorced. Offset sat down with Keke Palmer on This Is Keke Palmer and talked about that rumor that has been circulating. Let's take a listen.
It was something deeper than that for the split of me and bro. I don't really want to touch on, but it's something deeper than that. I think that was just like that was a thing that was a buzz that I heard.
Offset even revealed something shocking. He claimed that certain business people behind the scenes were actively plotting to tear the group apart. According to him, there were powerful folks trying to create fake tension and division within the family, all so they could keep control of the money and the masters. That's a heavy accusation, but it fits perfectly with how shady the industry operates. And this right here ties straight back to what we talked about at the very start. The game is built to keep artists divided, weak, and unable to fight back against unfair contracts or manipulation. Offset saw that system working against him firsthand, not just in business, but in his own circle. One of the most emotional moments came when Offset opened up about Takeoff's tragic passing. You could feel the pain in his voice, real, deep, and raw. He admitted he's been carrying guilt inside for a long time, something he never truly talked about until his heart-to-heart with Keke Palmer. That moment showed just how much weight he's been holding behind the fame and success.
I think people was trying to tear my situation down in that situation. And
You think there were business people that were plotting on you both?
for sure.
Yeah, and they were creating you guys, stopping you guys from being strong so that y'all couldn't go together against that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would be seeing headlines and we men, so we don't play those games. We don't even know how to do that.
When Offset started talking about Takeoff, everything got quiet. You could tell it wasn't just another interview moment. This was pain coming straight from the heart. He said losing Takeoff changed him forever, and that he's been fighting to make peace with the guilt of not fixing things between them sooner. He admitted that they hadn't spoken much before that tragic night, and that thought still haunts him every day. Offset said he sometimes wakes up wishing he could call Takeoff just one more time, just to say, "We good, bro." You could see the emotion in his eyes, that mix of sadness, regret, and love. He made it clear that no amount of money or fame can replace real family. He also talked about how Takeoff was always the quiet one, the one who never wanted drama, never needed attention, just pure love for the music. Offset said watching someone that genuine get taken away so suddenly made him look at life differently. He realized how fast everything can change in this game, and how fake people can be once the cameras turn off. That's why Offset said he's been staying out the mix more, focusing on family, rebuilding his peace, and keeping Takeoff's legacy alive through his work. He wants to make sure the world never forgets the type of artist and person Takeoff really was. And just when people thought the story was over, Offset hinted that there's still a lot that the public doesn't know about what really happened after Takeoff's death. He said the truth always comes out eventually, but when it does, it's gonna shock the world. This wasn't just pain talking, it was a promise. Something big still lingers behind the scenes. After that emotional moment, Offset made it clear that Takeoff's passing didn't just break his heart, it completely changed his perspective on life and the industry. He said it woke him up to how fragile everything really is, and how quick people in this business will turn tragedy.
People like that pass away, especially so suddenly. It had to make you think, what did you think? You know what I'm saying?
To be honest with you, I never really said this. I feel like I had that, some responsibility was on me, because what if I didn't go solo? What if I just thugged it out with the business not being right? You know what I mean? Maybe we wouldn't even been right there or in that place, because I just know how we move when I'm around a little.
Into clout, Offset said straight up that after Takeoff's death, he saw folks he thought were friends using the situation for attention, posting fake love, chasing views, and spreading lies just to stay relevant. He said that's when he realized the music game can be cold on a whole other level. People smile in your face and then capitalize on your pain the second you fall. That's why he's been keeping his circle smaller, focusing on real ones who've been there before the fame, not the ones trying to ride the wave now that he's back on top. Offset also mentioned how hard it's been balancing his grief with his career. Every time he hits the stage, he said he feels Takeoff's presence right there with him, and that's what keeps him pushing forward. He said performing now feels more spiritual than ever, like every verse is a tribute to his brother. But here's the part that really hit fans. Offset said he's finally ready to tell the whole story. He hinted that there's more to Takeoff's passing than people know, and that one day he'll speak on it fully when the time is right. He said too many lies have been told, too many rumors spun, and when the truth drops, people are gonna see everything in a different light. This wasn't just Offset mourning, this was Offset reclaiming his power, his voice, and his peace.
He's turning the pain into purpose, and you can feel it in every word he says.
You don't believe hip hop is declining?
I don't believe so. Not while I'm in it. What the hell I look like saying it's declining right now? I'm in it. No sir. And there's way more rich black folks off of hip hop
that made it
ever.
Right.
It ain't never been no execs in the buildings like it is now. It's black execs in the buildings, like in the label buildings, making decisions more than it's ever been. And we still run the.
Offset's story is more than just music. It's survival, growth, and redemption. Through all the lies, business battles, and personal heartbreak, he's proven that real ones don't fold, even when the world's watching. He's been through the kind of pain that money can't fix and betrayal that fame can't hide. But instead of breaking, he turned every scar into strength. He said in one of his latest interviews that he's no longer chasing validation, he's chasing peace. Offset wants to build generational wealth, raise his kids right, and honor Takeoff's legacy in every song he drops. That's why his new projects hit so different. You can hear the emotion, the hunger, and the truth behind every verse. And let's be real, Offset's story is the perfect example of how cold this industry can get. From fake friends to shady deals, from public drama to private pain, he's seen it all. But now, he's standing tall, owning his narrative, and letting the world know he's not playing anyone's game anymore. Even with all the noise around his name, Offset continues to move with purpose. No more distractions, no more back and forth. He's focused on family, loyalty, and legacy. The man went from being part of one of the biggest rap groups ever to finding his own lane, and he did it with pure authenticity. So when you hear Offset talk about what he's been through, believe him. He's not just talking for clout or headlines. He's speaking truth from experience. Every bar, every beat, every moment tells a story of pain, hustle, and redemption. And that wraps up this entire saga, from the dice game to the drama, from loss to legacy. Offset's journey shows what it really takes to rise, fall, and rise again in this game. If you've been locked in this far, do one thing. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your peoples, and drop a comment below. Let's keep the conversation going, because Offset's story is still being written.